Well, hi folks. Here we are, Sunday, January 24th. And sometimes, hey, the weather guys do get it right. So here's our snow. Sort of intriguing. So we'll just sort of leave it on the, we'll leave everything on the snow here. It's sort of a peaceful sort of setting. Peaceful when you think of what's happening around the world. You know, it's sort of crazy. When you look at what Mr. Senile has done so far, I'm talking about the U.S. president. It's sort of sad, really, that people would put him out as the puppet, the excuse for what they're doing at the end of the day if it all goes wrong, I suppose. But it's sad that someone would take a fellow with challenges and put him on the front stage and snicker behind, play him as the fool. Interesting. It sort of says a lot about the people behind the scenes. You know, and I think pretty much of the past group. And the past group is Pelosi, Adler, Schumer, and Schiff. And of course you could add the Clintons and Obama, maybe even throw Bush into that mix as well. You know, it's when you look at the past group, now Pelosi, I always think, you know, she's always mentions her faith and that she prays for people. You know, well, in the 15th and 16th centuries, there were a group of people, a family, the Borgias. You can check it out, Borgia, the Borgia, the 15th, 16th century. They even had a couple popes, I believe. But they were real assholes. Well, look at history for yourself. And I think of them I think of that bit of history every time I hear Pelosi go off on her faith rant, how she's praying for a president or whatever, or puts her faith in front for the stupidity she's doing. Then, of course, you have Adler, the Mr. Myth guy. Everything is a myth, not happening. Mr. Waddler himself. Then we have Schumer, the 6 ways from Sunday fellow. I mean, he's a piece of work. I mean, sort of intriguing. You know, we often say it's not what people say, it's what people do. And as we're watching what these clowns are doing, it doesn't take a lot of intelligence to sort of figure out that it's not going to turn out well. Then you have Schiff, and of course with Schiff you have Liar Liar. I think any song you want to think that has Liar Liar Pants on Fire, well, you gotta have Schiff's face on the cover of that album or disc or whatever the hell it is today. But those 4 people, along with some ex-presidents and some people behind the scenes, along with big tech, Jack in the Box and Sucky Babe doing their work for them. It's sort of intriguing, you know. And as you look, just got to look through history to see what happens with the clowns like that. And I suppose it's something even more untoward, because when you think about it, when you look at the Carl Schwab, and the boys from Europe there, what they're planning, it is not pretty. And you know, all the climate change people are getting excited because they're back in the Paris Accord. Get out your pencil and paper, do some figuring, do some thinking. Did you know that there's earthquakes and volcanoes happening underwater in the oceans almost on a daily basis? The amount of gas and pollution kicked through, tremendous amount. One major volcano, we've had a couple of them in the last few months. Well, you'd have to drive for 100,000 years before you even sort of touch base with the pollution that was kicked out. And I suppose people just don't realize it. No, we're not saying to crap in your own bed. Look after your own garbage and try not to create too much. It's just common sense. But it's pretty vain to think you are the one, or we are the ones causing major changes. If I can just hone down there, there's some birds under that tree there having a field day. Well, I wonder if their conversation is about that, hey, we caused this snow, so we better be careful. If we're not careful and we're not sort of forming our cliques and getting all the other birds in line, well, holy shit, we could have so much snow we won't be able to eat, and that'll be the end of the world. That'll be the end of the world. It'll be so cold we won't be able to fly. I mean, that's how stupid we are. That's how stupid we are. Incidentally, talking about climate change and what have you, tomorrow is the January 20th, not tomorrow, but January 26th is the anniversary of the last mega quake in the Pacific Northwest. And science and researchers, geologists, and a whole group, a mix of professionals, and have sort of tracked back the time of the last one to approximately 9 p.m. January 26, 1700. And that sort of devastated the Pacific Northwest from northern California up to maybe as far as southern Alaska, sort of thing, southern tips of Alaska. And of course a tsunami that went across into the east, into the Orient, into Japan and areas, and with a lot of devastation. And you can find, wonder how the time and the date, how we know that from 1700? Well, there's a book called Full Rip 9 that goes through that. If you just sort of Google that or pick up the book, it's an interesting read. Just how they did the time track and did the research to figure out what happened. But that sort of changed the coast in a dramatic way. And they figure approximately around every 300 years that thing lets go. Although new research is thinking it might go sooner than that, because it's not fixed in stone. No pun intended, but the intervals between those big quakes. So it's interesting, and it's something to keep in mind. The climate change guys thinking we're the cause of that? Maybe. I mean, I see they're talking about UFOs a lot now too, even out of Harvard. That's the next big thing for people. They're gonna have some guy going by in his four-wheel drive enjoying the snow. They're going to we'll have people digging holes under their house to hide from the UFOs. You just watch and see. We'll be having an invasion from space. Interesting. Not saying we won't, but I mean, that's the next climate change march will switch to the planetary invasion march. We're a funny bunch, folks. We're like these birds under this tree. And of course, I can't read their minds, but I don't think they're thinking about the end of the world. They're thinking about filling their bellies and getting on with things, and that's what they're doing. Even have a few hummingbirds out here, and don't see them it's hard to see the feeders are in under the trees and can't see them from here. But they're hanging about as well. Everybody's out, nobody's wearing toques or snow boots, but they're all enjoying themselves. If I'm quiet for a while, you might even hear there's a lot of buzzing going on. Not sure if we're picking those tweets and conversations up, but they're happening. So anyway, just thought I'd turn this onto the snow. Tip of the hat to the weatherman. They got it right. They do that now and again, and it's actually not going to stay too well because it's pretty damp. It seems to be. Mind you, never know. We could get a bit of a cold north coming in and be in for a big one. But I would say there's probably maybe 2-3 inches out here, and still snowing. I'm going to sort of pan up into some trees here. We have some tall cedars out there that are sort of intriguing. Give you an idea, it's not going to go that high. Oh, there they are. We're right across the street and down the path. There's the Pacific around the ocean. So anyway, watch the path. Pelosi, Adler, Schiff, Schumer, and as they, it's not what they say, it's what they do. And I've never seen 4 people, and there's many more of them, but they're the guys out front, the gallon guys out front, who have been so facetious, so vindictive, so nasty for so many years in a row. Now we're talking going, the full 4 years from 2017 or 16, all the way on through to today, and they're still. These guys must have hemorrhoids and ulcers, because when you're that nasty, how do you retain your health? Take care. Bye for now, and we'll see you tomorrow.